Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And we have a great article from the Motley Fool. I will leave it in the description down below. I highly encourage you guys to check it out. There's a lot of great, detailed information on something that I think is very, very, very important at this date and time. Can T-Mobile beat inflation without hiking prices? So I'm going to pull a little bit from this article. I read the article. There's great info. So I highly encourage you guys to check it out in its entirety. So a lot of you are still concerned with T-Mobile's progress. And the issue I have with that is the progress is there. We're seeing it in the numbers. Every quarter, T-Mobile chips away bit by bit. Every quarter, new Sprint Keep sites are turned on. New sites within 41. New coverage is added. And the scary part about it is I think AT&T and Verizon still seem to take that lightly. T-Mobile is taking share. I promise you guys, hear me on this when I say this on the channel. You guys know I don't say stuff that if I haven't seen the documents behind the scenes. T-Mobile is growing at a rate higher than what they've seen during John's tenure when John was the CEO. Right now, as it stands, second quarter, they're accelerating growth. They're accelerating growth to a level where they may have to guide higher for the year. They may have to make an adjustment at the earnings call, the Q2 earnings call. There may be adjustment for higher growth guidance for the year. That's how much T-Mobile growth they're taking in. They're taking share big time. So even though now we might have a little battle going on with promotional deals and Verizon coming in and they're lowering for new customers, they're lowering the prices of the lines up to 3 lines. T-Mobile is still significantly cheaper by a good cushion, even with Verizon lowering prices by $15 additionally on top of the multi-line discounts. In that case, T-Mobile is still currently with their deal $40 cheaper for 3 lines on the Magenta Max. Just let that sink in. 40. It's not 10. It's not 15. They're $40 cheaper for 3 lines on the Magenta Max. And that $15 discount that you get with Verizon, so it drops it from the $195 for 3 lines down to $180, which is in line with AT&T, and that includes taxes and fees. T-Mobile's Magenta Max pricing for 3 lines includes taxes and fees. So there are additional savings there too. I mean, you're going to save a good amount of money going with T-Mobile. And that's how they're able to take the growth. So here's a part of the article that I've already been tracking with another source. It is anticipated for the quarter that AT&T is going to lose between 500 to 600,000 customers. In other words, AT&T this quarter is expected to be the main fueler of the switching pool. And although the articles and the surveys say that a good amount of that base is that group that's leaving is going to end up going to AT&T. But the Motley Fool and a few others are not so sure now that that is entirely the case because of T-Mobile's renewed focus recently on marketing, price lock, and just being cheaper. And then the network, in the meantime, is getting better too. T-Mobile may not be spending as much as the competition, but I think their investments on the network are more apparent because they're not funding any fiber deployments. So the synergies essentially kick in as the Sprint network is decommissioned. That's a ton of savings on the operational side for T-Mobile. Now they're going to have to invest back some of those savings to increase the fiber to that 10 gig. But they already said, like I said, everything is known publicly. They already stated they have large scale 10 gig deals already locked in. It's just now either they have to still upgrade their routers to 10 gig, or it's the third party fiber that has to go and upgrade to 10 gig. But I'm hearing it's in the middle, it's increasing, and more sites daily are going on air with 10 gig backhaul. So it's all there. They're remaining competitive. They have a very large cushion of better pricing versus their competitors. They're just set up for a ton of growth. Even there were a few articles released behind the scenes, behind paywalls yesterday, that show, per the downloading data for the T-Mobile home internet app, their growth in May accelerated 78% for home internet. And that's kind of what they mean here when it says on the key points, it can also benefit from offering additional services. Fixed wireless access is that additional service that T-Mobile is going to pull money from. Now, they recently did cut that down to $30, but you only get that $30 price point if you bundle that with Magenta Max. And Magenta Max is a higher ARPU for the company. And as you can see here, the carrier still plans to boost revenue per account and grow total accounts in 2022. So with all the promotional pricing pressure they're putting into the market, with all of the spending on the network, with them being lower on margins and profits, they are still planning or guiding to boost revenue per account and grow total accounts in 2022. I think that's impressive. I think it may go to show that Verizon and AT&T don't need to be making all those profits, that you can still come in lower priced, have a respectable network, and still offer great value. I don't know if it'll be the best network per se when it comes down to it. I still think that title may go to Verizon. Like I've said in the previous video, they're kind of brute forcing their way through it with all this heavy capital. But spending that capital doesn't allow them that wiggle room to really lower their price, because their investors are like, hey, you need to make more money. You just spend all this money on spectrum, build out, and potentially more spectrum if they compete in future auctions. We need to see a return on this investment. Whereas T-Mobile is coming in lower on CapEx. They're going to lower CapEx again next year. And they're growing at insane rates right now. That's all I'm going to say. I can't give you guys any exact numbers, but the growth, my God, they are growing, man. They're growing like those weeds in your backyard that you hate when they come back. So I'll leave this article in the description down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you think it is time for Verizon and AT&T to really take T-Mobile serious. I think personally, if by the time they realize that T-Mobile is really like this stronger suited competitor, it may be too late, because I don't see Verizon and AT&T making a aggressive enough market correction. And what I mean by that is, when it is fully realized that T-Mobile is cutting into the bottom line of Verizon and AT&T, we should be seeing pricing drop closer to T-Mobile levels. That is my take on that. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I'm thinking. Because eventually something's got to give. Verizon can have all the higher profits and higher margins if they want to. If they no longer have a customer base that's going to pay them because they're losing them, then where's the money? It's going to T-Mobile or MVNO, or some of that going to AT&T too, of course. But for now, that's where the growth is going. On the MNO side. On the MNO side, the growth is going to T-Mobile. And I predict Q3 and Q4 is going to look very similar. They're growing, taking share. And before I end this video, to throw that in, from what I was speaking with the engineer yesterday, they haven't even hit their full stride yet on that rural build out. That is still like 30 percentile. So they still got 70% rural build out, which is going to lead to, guess what? More growth. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel, like, share, subscribe, follow my social media outlets for more updates and interactions. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.